Just ahead on CTV News.
We have new information revealed in the fatal shooting at a Foot Locker that happened last week. We'll bring you those details.
Plus, U.S. candidate Larry Hogan receives a huge endorsement from the county's Fraternal Order of Police. And
nearly a year after they were sent back to China, a new set of pandas has arrived in the U.S. I'm Byron Scott. Will have that story coming up.
Those stories and more on CTV News starting now.
Good evening. This is CTV News for October 16th. I'm Mariah Gilad. Thanks for joining us. Now to an update. Last week, we reported a man shot to death at a Foot Locker near the shops at Iverson in Hillcrest Heights. Now, charging documents reveal the victim had his 4-year-old son with him during the time of the shooting. CTV's Michaela Newton reports.
That's right. According to charging documents, the victim's young son was with him shoe shopping before shots were fired, killing 24-year-old Dominique Hodge. Charging documents also reveal that Hodge was armed but did not fire back. This all happened last week at the Foot Locker near the shops at Iverson Mall. 2 suspects were charged in the murder of Dominique Hodge. 19-year-old Andres Rodriguez Corona and 22-year-old Carl Sanders appeared in court Tuesday afternoon. Sanders was located and arrested following a traffic stop. 2 ghost guns were also found in the vehicle. Now, police are still looking for a 3rd suspect in connection to this case. Now, the judge denied bond for both Rodriguez, Corona, and Sanders, but police do believe the victim was targeted. However, so far, a motive has not yet been established. Reporting in Prince George's County, Maryland, I'm Michaela Newton for CTV News.
Thank you, Michaela, for that report. We will keep you updated as this story develops. Yesterday marked the first day local boards of elections could begin canvassing mail-in ballots. Election officials say that Maryland voters have already returned 262,000 ballots so far. Each ballot envelope is opened, reviewed, and counted by hand. Both Democrats and Republicans must be involved in this process. Now, canvassing results will not be disclosed until after the polls close at 8 p.m. on Election Day. And the race for the Maryland Senate election is heating up as new campaign finance reports show millions of dollars being poured into each candidate. County Executive Angela Alsobrook's campaign reports raising more than $13 million between July 1st and September 30th. Now, former Governor Larry Hogan's campaign reports raising more than $3 million during the same time. Since entering the race in May last year, Alsobrook's campaign fund has raised $26 million. Hogan has raised more than $10 million since entering the race in February. And former Governor Larry Hogan paid a visit to the Prince George's County Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 89 yesterday, following a unanimous endorsement of his campaign for Senate by the state's FOP. Hogan and Prince George's FOP President Angelo Consoli spoke to members of the lodge as part of Hogan's Country Over Party, People Over Politics tour. Now, both Hogan and Consoli spoke out against Hogan's opponent, Prince George's County Executive Angela Alsobrook's impact and relations with Lodge 89, and how they hope Hogan will provide support for law enforcement if he is elected senator.
I've been the president of this lodge for 5 years and have zero relationship with this county executive. She can say she likes the police officer and wants the police officers, but she won't meet with me, she won't talk to me, she didn't put me on the reform group, she didn't put me on the group to help pick the chief of police, and I could go on and on and on.
You'll continue to have me in your corner. I'm very proud to have the Maryland FOP's unanimous endorsement, and I'm just as proud to have my former home county, FOP 89, strongly behind us. And I thank you for having the guts to stand up, because I know it's hard. You know, you've got somebody here that does control your budget, that even though she hadn't talked to you in 5 years and hasn't given you anything that you asked for, I know it takes a lot of courage to stand up, and it means a lot to me.
According to recent polls, Alsobrooks has a 9.5-point lead over Hogan. And a Prince George's police officer will not be charged for a shooting back in February. The incident happened at an apartment on Suitland Road on February 1st for a report of breaking and entering. Officer Braxton Shelton encountered resident Melvin Jay inside, asking him to move forward and show his hands. Jay moved toward the kitchen and began reaching for the kitchen sink. Shelton heard a ding, which sounded like metal on metal, and opened fire on Jay, who was pronounced dead on the scene. A handgun was recovered from Jay's jacket pocket and in the kitchen sink. The Office of the Attorney General says Shelton did not commit a crime under Maryland law. And Maryland drivers, be on the lookout for a new car scam targeting drivers with dented vehicles. According to Montgomery County Police, cars with decals reading mobile dent repair are roaming parking lots in the area, claiming to provide repair services. But the scammers are not licensed to perform any auto body work and could likely do more damage to your vehicle. If you see or are targeted by this scam, call Montgomery County Police's non-emergency line at 301-279-8000. And Montgomery County will be further cracking down on noisy vehicles, with the County Council passing a bill to install noise monitoring cameras. The cameras have microphones that measure noise levels and can take pictures or videos of any car that violates noise laws. It's illegal in the state for a car's exhaust to be louder than 80 decibels, about as loud as a power lawnmower. Drivers caught the first time by the cameras will receive a warning, and a second offense will come with a $75 ticket. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Mariah Gillette. Still to come, a local high school held a scholarship fair today. Find out the resources offered and how the students benefit when we return.
Gracie and Pedro might not get along so well.
They're standing on my tail.
But there's one thing they agree on. There's a right seat for everyone.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
Whether you're a dog,
Hold on, Pooch.
a cat, a fish, or a rat.
And I'm a ferret.
Be sure to travel safe.
How can you be so sure?
I'm absolutely positive.
On your next adventure, make sure your children are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Welcome back. Great news for panda lovers in our area. The lovable bears are back in the nation's capital. 2 giant pandas from China arrived yesterday at the Smithsonian National Zoo. Byron Scott has our story.
11 months after they were sent back to China, a new set of pandas has arrived in the nation's capital.
I think that's awesome. It's exciting.
There is excitement in the air at the National Zoo, and why not? The pandas are back. What makes people so excited about the pandas? What is it?
They're cute. They're not it's rare for this area, and you can't just go to any zoo and see them. So I just think they're very, very cute. There's something very lovable.
3-year-old giant pandas Bao Li and Qing Bao were FedExed to America. They arrived yesterday following a special hours-long flight from China to Alaska for refueling, then to Dulles International Airport. From Dulles, they were taken to the zoo. So you know all about the pandas?
I know all about the pandas.
Excited about them?
We are so excited. We are panda experts in this neighborhood. We're so happy to have all the tourists coming to visit them, and we just have panda energy now back in Woodley Park and in Washington, D.C.
Bao Li is the son of Bao Bao, who was born at the zoo in 2013. That makes him the grandchild of 2 pandas that were returned to China last year, along with the youngest offspring. So you're wearing your panda glasses?
I guess they are panda glasses.
What is it about the pandas you like?
I feel like they're sweet, and I don't feel like they're harmful, unless there's something I don't know, but I feel like they're one of the gentle giants of the animal kingdom. The giant pandas are here in America as part of a 10-year agreement with Chinese authorities.
And this is the only zoo that has them, so yeah, they're really unique.
For now, the bears will remain quarantined for at least 30 days. Then the pandemonium begins.
I think there's just a sight to see. Like, people have their lions or their snakes, but the pandas are just these big old teddy bears.
As for when you can get a peek at the pandas, you'll have to wait just a little bit. Zoo members can get a peek at them between January 10th and the 19th, and the general public will get to see the pandas on the 24th. At the National Zoo, Byron Scott, CTV News.
Thank you, Byron. Looks like you can hardly wait for them to show up, huh? All right. A high-speed chase in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, Sunday night ended with the arrest of a Fort Washington man. He's been identified as 39-year-old Kevin Graves. Delaware State Police say Graves fled a traffic stop on Coastal Highway, leading officers on a dangerous pursuit before crashing into 4 vehicles at a red light. An 18-year-old woman was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Graves was later found near the scene, resisted arrest, and is now facing multiple charges, including felony vehicular assault and reckless driving. He's being held on a $4,700 bond at Sussex Correctional Institution. And crews from Maryland Task Force 1 are making their way back home after helping with rescue efforts from Hurricane Helene and Milton. Crews were deployed to North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida for 18 days and returned to Maryland over the past week. The group included 100 first responders from Prince George's and surrounding counties and the district. This is the task force's 4th deployment of the year. And in an effort to address the shortage of medical professionals in Maryland's Eastern Shore, the University of Maryland School of Medicine has launched a program designed to train and place incoming medical students in the area. The program is backed by over $1.4 million in state and private funding. The program currently has 6 first-year medical students with an interest in rural health.
Is awarded $14,000 in scholarship monies, and if you times that by 4, ladies and gentlemen, man, that's over $80,000 in scholarship money.
You get a scholarship, you get a scholarship. It was an exciting day for students at Suitland High School as they gathered in the gym with resumes and transcripts in hand in hopes of receiving scholarships from local and national colleges and universities. Over a dozen colleges were in attendance, like South Carolina State University, Liberty University, and Prince George's Community College. According to the principal, this was one of the first events of its kind. One student we spoke to even got a full ride scholarship.
Students getting $60,000 scholarships. Students get $80,000 scholarships. Once the students can see that they do that, it is going to change their life.
Very excited. I heard her talk a little bit and I filled out an application, and then she looked at my transcript, she reviewed like my courses, my GPA, and then she wrote my scholarship.
The students are actually walking away with thousands of dollars in scholarship money. So when I leave here, I'm going to cry in the car because I'll be happy.
Congratulations to all of those students. And immigration and education are taking center stage in a small school district in Massachusetts, in a case some fear could have national implications. It's been 40 years since the U.S. Supreme Court held it was unconstitutional to deny children an education based on their immigration status. Last year, the Saugus School District, just outside Boston, passed a new admissions policy that requires students to prove their legal residency. Conservatives in some states are supporting that new policy. And with the possibility of a Trump presidency, there are concerns that conservatives may get some traction on the issue. Immigration experts also fear the conservative-dominated Supreme Court could overturn long-standing legal precedent. And a local museum is recognizing the accomplishments of Latino women in the aviation field. The College Park Aviation Museum has opened its newest exhibit called Follow in the Footsteps of Latinas in Aviation. The exhibit features 7 trailblazers who are forging a path for other Latino women in aviation and sharing their stories. The display includes Latinas like Linda Powell, the youngest woman to be in the world to become a jet captain, and Jacqueline Ruiz, a sports airplane pilot and co-founder of the Latinas in Aviation Global Festival.
For this exhibit is that is to take away that even if you're not interested in aviation, these themes of overcoming obstacles, of finding your path and anything that interests you and of creating community can apply to any area of your life. So you don't have to be into aviation to appreciate this exhibit. Every woman is so unique, and they really have forged a path for themselves in really interesting ways and really inspiring ways. And many of these women have been able to donate objects to us, and we're so grateful for them. And through these objects, we can add a more personal touch to their story.
The exhibit is also in English and Spanish and is expected to be open until the end of the year. And still to come on CTV News, a local group of residents wants to start beef with a major fast food company. Find out their reasoning after the break.
Hi, I'm Chuck Hegel, former Secretary of Defense and Vietnam veteran. With wars around the world and divisions here at home, the world sometimes seems like a hopeless place. But this is not the first time for our country. Differences over the Vietnam War nearly tore our country apart. The Vietnam Veterans Memorial here in Washington, D.C. helped our country heal and come back together. More than 58,000 American service members died serving in Vietnam, and their names are inscribed on the memorial. We must never forget those who gave their lives for our country. Remember their sacrifice. Learn how our country came together after this divisive time in our history. Learn more at vvmf.org. Thank you.
Democrats in Congress are asking companies to keep around their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs after some major companies rolled back their diversity policies over the summer. The House members sent a letter to major companies calling inclusion a great business practice that creates a safer and fairer workplace. Companies like Lowe's and Ford got rid of their DEI programs this year after being targeted by conservative activists that believe the policies to be unfair. And a new study highlights a major challenge for federal agencies. Young adults just don't trust the government. A recent survey from Partnership for Public Service shows of 1,000 U.S. adults under the age of 34, only 15% said they have confidence in federal leadership. To bridge this gap, agencies are actively seeking tech-savvy young candidates to consider careers in public service. Since last year, they've been hosting Tech2Gov hiring fairs, aiming to recruit the next generation of IT and cybersecurity talent. And the Federal Trade Commission announces a new click-to-cancel rule, making it easier for consumers to cancel subscriptions. This rule, which takes effect in about 5 months, ensures that canceling a service is as simple as signing up. FTC Chair Lena Khan said the move targets businesses that trap consumers in recurring payments. The rule also mandates clear disclosures of terms, obtaining informed consent, and banning deceptive marketing. It comes after rising complaints, with the Commission receiving nearly 70 complaints a day this year. That's up from 42 per day in 2021. And a major fast food corporation wants to build a new restaurant in the county, but a group of local residents say it's not what they ordered. I spoke to a Hyattsville man about what's at stake.
We have busy transit lanes, we have an elementary school, a playground, and a lot of people who live, shop, and work here. And a drive-through would really make these already bad pedestrian conditions much, much worse.
Since 2021, La Donita has brought Central American cuisine to the intersection of East-West Highway and Ager Road. But soon, the restaurant and the forest behind it could be torn down in favor of a drive-through McDonald's.
This lovely business here does not have a drive-through, and it has a reasonable amount of traffic, as you can see. A drive-through is engineered to bring more cars in and out of this plaza.
Traffic is already an issue on this stretch of road, which Prince George's County labels a high injury network, and saw more than a dozen pedestrian injury crashes between 2018 and 2021, including 3 pedestrian deaths. The group of community members trying to stop the McDonald's successfully blocked the development of a Royal Farms gas station on the same road, which would have demolished a playground and brought more traffic.
Members of the community got together and fought that, and Royal Farms pulled their application, and that playground is going to remain for the kids in this neighborhood. Ever since then, we've been a lot more vigilant about monitoring the development that goes on at this intersection. And the State Highway Administration has already identified this particular stretch as one of the most dangerous intersections in the state of Maryland. And they have a pedestrian safety plan to address some of these things with better crosswalks and a hiker shared use path on East-West Highway. Those great plans are going to be totally undermined by a drive-through at this location.
The location is also in what's called a healthy food priority area, which means residents lack access to healthy foods. The proposed McDonald's would be the 15th in just a 10-mile radius.
The community here is not clamoring for more fast food. I think the community wants to keep charming businesses like this in place that are serving local and culturally appropriate food. And the last thing we need is a McDonald's, especially with a drive-through that is going to put the pedestrians, school children, transit users, and bikers who live and work here at greater risk of a collision with a car.
The Stop McDonald's group has gathered letters from other residents that oppose the project and will present to the planning board of the State Parks and Planning Commission tomorrow. You can watch a live stream of the meeting at 11:30 a.m. on the PG Planning Board website. And one of the largest banks in the Washington metro region has been hit with a hefty penalty. According to the Washington Business Journal, TD Bank Group will have to pay $3 billion in federal penalties. The bank will also have to accept an asset cap. Reports indicate that an investigation by the Justice Department revealed that Chinese crime groups and drug traffickers were using the bank to launder money. TD Bank is the 11th largest bank in the Washington metro region. And 7-Eleven is shutting down more than 400 stores in the country by the end of the year that the company says are underperforming. The closures come as the convenience chain grapples with inflation-driven consumer cutbacks and declining cigarette sales. The company plans to focus on boosting its fresh food and beverage offerings, expanding its digital and delivery services, and renaming itself 7-Eleven Core to focus on its core convenience store business. And a county council member hosts a community walk yesterday. The event was put together by District 7 council member Crystal Oriata Tuesday evening. Community members, county police, and Oriata walked around the Penn Station Shopping Center in District Heights to address safety concerns. You may recall 2 people were injured following a shooting at the shopping center back on September 11th. One attendee had a strong message to the county about shopping safety.
I need the county to step up. I want to feel safe when I bring my kids and we come to a shopping center. I don't want to have to worry about someone.
All right, Simon Buggs is here with our Wednesday sports page. What do we got today?
Well, Mariah, we have a very special sports page lined up for today. I'm very excited. Stay right there, sports fans, as I caught up with former Surrattsville High School coach and legend Lou Jenkins and talked to him about his coaching career. You'll want to see this. Be right back.
I'll never forget the day I nearly died. The only way we found out I had any kind of heart issue was when I went into sudden death. I think unless you are a heart disease patient, you may not know how much work the American Heart Association does behind the scenes to save your life. Since my cardiac arrest, I've watched all 3 of my children grow into adulthood, and I'm still here.
Learn more about the American Heart Association's work at helpheart.org.
What's going on, everyone? It's time for your Wednesday sports page. Now, if there's one thing that PG County is known for, is athletic talent. It's the athletic talent that it has. But in order for these athletes to reach their potential, it sometimes takes a special type of coach for them to do so. And one former coach that's played a huge role in PG County athletes being the best they can be is Lou Jenkins.
Lou Jenkins is an absolute legend in the Maryland sports community. Jenkins coached wrestling and baseball at Surrattsville High School, and while he was there, had a ton of success. So much so that the 91-year-old was recently given an achievement award for his coaching career. I sat down with Jenkins, and he told me how he got his first shot in the coaching world at the elementary level.
My first 4 years, I was in elementary school at Surrattsville on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Tanglewood up the road on Monday and Tuesday. So I had 2 schools, but when I was at Surrattsville, they had what they call Grade Y, run by the YMCA, not the Board of Education. But anyhow, with the YMCA, we would play softball, basketball. Then the next 4 years I went to Eugene Burroughs, where I actually coached as an assistant flag football, and then wrestling. I handled the wrestling, and baseball.
And after splitting 8 years in elementary and middle school, Jenkins got the job at Surrattsville High School. As the school's wrestling coach, Jenkins compiled a 84-23 record while also winning multiple dual meet and county championships. And the coaching legend touched on what caused him to have so much success and the moments that went into it.
Dedication from the players and the coach, I guess. The thing about wrestling, my first year of varsity coaching at Surrattsville, the Baltimore Sun claimed that we were the #1 wrestling team in the state of Maryland. And I got some stuff in books here, but you know, that to me was an honor. Because we beat a team called Brooklyn Park, and I don't even know if they exist, but they were out of Baltimore County, and they were the tough team in that area over there. I guess they were in the Anne Arundel County, but it was Brooklyn Park, and we won the match because our heavyweight did not get pinned.
Jenkins' baseball career was just as legendary as he retired with more wins than any Maryland baseball coach and captured 11 county championships, with 6 of them coming between 1978 and 1984. He also coached many players that went on to have success beyond the high school level.
I had a number of guys that went to college. I mean, I guess Joe Koncharski would be the big name because he ended up going to the University of South Carolina, where he was drafted #1, but was with me, I think he was the number 13 draft choice by the Orioles, but they followed him, and when he graduated from South Carolina, he was the #1 draft choice of the Baltimore Orioles.
With all that success, Jenkins was inducted into the Maryland State Association of Baseball Coaches Hall of Fame, and he told me how he felt when he found out he would be joining some elite company.
Surprised. Actually surprised. I just love the game, so I could, you know, you could have told me they weren't going to do it, but I was surprised. And it was done at Camden Yards.
And as we ended the interview, Jenkins told me the people who meant the most to him throughout his coaching tenure.
My mother and my wife, my father, they made my career. Take my mother, I look at her picture every day out there and say thank you.
Such a great story. What is it like getting to interview someone that's so influential in so many athletes' careers?
It was such a great experience, Mara. He has so many stories to tell from his days of high school coaching, from his college days as well. Be on the lookout for that, sports fans, as I'll have another package on his college career. But he was a sweet person, a wonderful person, and his wife that he mentioned, Marianne, she was a great person too. It was such a great experience talking to those two. I was definitely one of the highlights of my time being a sports reporter for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
No problem.
All right, now let's move on to our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight will be partly cloudy and will reach a low of 39. Tomorrow, it's going to be sunny with a high of 59. Friday, more sunshine on the way. We're looking at a high of 66 and low of 43. Start making weekend plans now because Saturday will be just as nice when we reach a high of 70. And for our community calendar, this Friday, the Community Advocates for Family and Youth are hosting Shattering the Silence, spoken word against domestic violence. Join the group at Busboys and Poets in Hyattsville for a powerful evening of poetry and storytelling as they raise awareness and support for survivors through spoken word. This event takes place from 7 to 10 p.m. For more information or tickets, contact 301-390-4092. And that wraps up CTV News for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Hi, I'm Leland Melvin, and I traveled to space twice as a NASA astronaut. Space technologies help protect our precious Earth. Space helps us monitor changes in carbon emissions, track the pace of climate change. It even helps us fight natural disasters. Make sure that you get out to your local science museum or go to spaceforall.us to explore and learn about space and science. Space is for all.